It's the last Monday of the month of October in the year 2023. Good morning, and you're watching the first news bulletin of the day on TV3 right here on New Day. My name is Josh Quinn. Top of the stories this morning. Ministry of National Security justifies military brutality in Garu, which it says was to arrest youth who attacked personnel on October 24. Also coming up this morning, New Patriotic Party General Secretary challenges aspirants making vote-buying allegations to support allegations with evidence. As Parliament resumes this week, we take a look at some of the pressing issues to dominate discussions on the floor. And in international news, Pope Francis calls for ceasefire in war between Israel and Hamas. Well, we've got details of these and many more coming up in the next 20 minutes. If you spend your time with me, remember, we're also live on DSTV channel 279. Let's begin with some security-related issues, shall we? The Member of Parliament for Garu, Albert Alazuga, has called on government to initiate a probe into military brutalities on civilians in the constituency. A contingent of armed military personnel in the early hours of Sunday stormed some communities and brutalized residents, leaving several people with varied degrees of injuries.
We were in the room, I and my husband. So they came and they were knocking. So we thought they were armed robbers. So we defended ourselves, not knowing that they were soldiers. So they came in and started scattering our room, asking us to bring out gas.
Merciless beatings and other forms of abuse have left many residents traumatized. They were not told what their offense was.
All our rooms, our doors, they break everything and started beating my husband. That is what happened. They beat him until they sent him out. They beat him to the station.
Sources close to the security say the operation was to flush out suspected terrorists in the area. But security analyst Dr. Adam Bona believes it was rather an act to brutalize the resident.
If you are there claiming to be fighting terrorism or, countering terrorism, then what I would say is that you need the involvement of the people. And so this doesn't look like, an activity to counter terrorists, but this looks like an operation to brutalize people in the area. It's despicable, to say the least. And my own checks, I'm yet to know who issued the command for the military to go there. But I think that on this account, somebody else is doing something that some of us don't understand.
Many of the civilians have fled their homes to avoid being victims and are living in fear. The Member of Parliament for Garu, Albert Alazuga, wants the government to investigate the incident.
I call on government to investigate this matter, get to the bottom of the matter, and then let us understand why the military should act this way. It's too barbaric, it is unprofessional. As I speak to you, I'm told that there's a helicopter that has come, it's hovering around the constituency. People are afraid, they don't even know why they are there. I'm certainly going to take this matter up on the floor of Parliament, because there are all manner of allegations being bandied around.
Relative calm has been restored in the area.
The military were in, but they left the shores of Garu around 6 a.m. this morning. And so as I talk to you now, there's no military presence in the area. There's no death at all, not to my knowledge. I was in the hospital. Since we started carrying the people to the hospital, calmness is restoring. The situation is quite calm now.
A number of people have been arrested. Others have fled to different towns in neighboring Togo.
It's not fair. We don't even know why they are doing that.
Christian Yale, TV3 News.
Meanwhile, Zugrana has condemned the military brutalities in Garu and Tempani, which left dozens injured. The victims are receiving treatment at various hospitals in the region.
Hundreds of residents, including women and children, are currently receiving treatment at hospitals in Garu and Tempani for injuries sustained during a dawn military attack and brutality on them. The soldiers were said to be attempting to retrieve arms used during the attack on national security operatives. Some of the victims have been speaking about their ordeals.
We heard our dog knock the gate, and the dogs were barking. So I came out to check, only to realize that there were military men, and they invaded the entire town and started asking us that we should come out. So we came out, and they made us to roll on the ground, made us to hop, and we were now kept in one place around the community center. We received beatings for more than 2 hours. And the district chief executive for the Garou and Timpani actually tried intervening, but to no avail. So the act, I would describe it as barbaric, because it was so serious that we all felt so bad. And as we speak, you realize that the Prince Hospital, the health center, is full. And other hospitals too have taken people, and they are taking care of them. So we are pleading that the president of the country should look onto this matter and let us also understand that we are citizens. We are not just people from a different country.
Mara happens to be the assemblyman for Garou Natinga, and they attacked every part of the Garou township and rendered several people injured at various degrees. I am a victim because military came into my house numbering 7, woke up my 6-year-old boy and beat him up. I think they beat up to 5 people, and injured them at various degrees. They went to one of my elder brother's room, broke in, picked money with undisclosed amounts, and then they picked mobile phones and left with it.
A delegation from the Boko Naba, Zugrana, Naba Asigri Abugrago Azoka II, led by the Wande chief, visited victims in Garou and Timpani district hospitals. The delegation condemned the attack on the Garou and Timpani resident, but called for calm as the traditional council takes steps to have the matter investigated.
Garou is not a security zone, and we will not allow anybody to be intimidated. As a traditional council, there will be no way we would allow our subjects to be intimidated. And so be rest assured, sleep well, because leadership is at work.
Meanwhile, a team of doctors from Kusau, led by Dr. Francis Akum, responded to distress calls from the Garou and Timpani district hospitals with boxes of drugs to support emergency care for the victims.
This is the first emergency medicines and consumables KPC mobilized, and I represented them to support the health facilities. I think in due course we'll see how we can continue to support them.
A medical director at the Presbyterian Hospital, Dr. Emmanuel Jamal Mohammed, thanked the Kusau People Congress and the Traditional Council for their support.
What has made it possible for us to treat these people and not record any death? Of course, this is not the only place. Some were rushed to Bugri Health Center, some were rushed to Rabito Hospital, others were rushed to Quality Medical Center here in Garou. And I think you have just been informed that 2 of the young men have sustained various fractures, and they are also being managed there. I'm sure when they are stable, they will all be referred for proper orthopedic management.
About a week ago, some national security operatives said to be on national assignment had a violent confrontation with some youth.
Still on security-related issues, the Ministry of National Security says it will not countenance deliberate acts that seek to jeopardize the lives of personnel of state security and intelligence agencies. The ministry, in a statement, explained that irate youth armed with AK-47 rifles, machetes and other weapons attacked a team of 5 counter-terrorism intelligence officers deployed by the Ministry of National Security to Garou in the Upper East region on Tuesday, October 24, 2023. According to the statement, following the development, the Ministry of National Security and the Ghana Armed Forces conducted a joint operation in Garou on Saturday, October 28, to seize weapons used by the perpetrators. The statement added that a number of the perpetrators were arrested in the process. And the Ministry of National Security further said it deems the attack on the security personnel at a police station highly unacceptable and strongly condemns acts aimed at intimidating and harming officials of state security and intelligence agencies and impeding them from effectively executing their mandate to safeguard the peace and stability of the country. Well, this is an issue of grave concern to us. We'll surely be following up and update you in our subsequent bulletins. And away from that, members of Parliament, are expected to resume sitting on October 31 after a 3-month break. In the following report, Evelyn Tingma projects the agenda for the House in what appears to be a rather short session.
Members of Parliament went on recess on August 3 and were expected to resume in the 3rd week of October, but due to some assignments that the leadership had to engage in, the resumption date was postponed.
Initially, we thought after the conference we were going to be able to reconvene on Tuesday, but later on we gave ourselves, I think, another week. We thought that if we're not able to do it on the 10th, we're going to go on the 17th. So that was tentatively what we planned to do. Something escaped us. What escaped us is the pendency of the Inter-Parliamentary Union conference in Angola. It begins on the 20th and ends on the 26th or so.
The House will now resume on October 31. Members will have several tasks to complete before the Christmas break in December. One of the major issues will be the budget statement for the 2024 fiscal year to be presented by the Finance Minister.
Normally, the budgets will come around the 15th of November. So we reconvene maybe a month or so to deal with outstanding businesses, including bills that may have to be done before the budget is presented. Now, 31st, we have barely 2 weeks. So it means that we are going to have just about 7 weeks or so for the next meeting of Parliament. It's going to be the shortest. And then we'll have to crowd so many things into that short space of time.
The Speaker's ad hoc committee is expected to present its report on the leaked audio tape allegedly to oust the Inspector General of Police. The havoc rigged by the Akonsombo and Kwong dams spillage will definitely be brought to the House's attention, and the Speaker is likely to give some directives. Some MPs have already stated that some officials at the Volta River Authority have questions to answer. Another issue that may be raised on the floor of Parliament may be the Minority Caucus and its demand for the removal of the Bank of Ghana governor and his 2 deputies. But the Majority Leader has given hints of what his side would do on this matter.
We could have invited the governor to come and talk to issues that are not clear to us. You go on a demonstration, you organize a press conference against them, what you think is happening within the corridors, and then you go on demonstration. Then you come back to Parliament to move a motion. Do you want me to support that?
This meeting of Parliament, though according to the Majority Leader, is going to be a very short one, a lot more is expected for it to handle. Aside the matters mentioned above, there are also some outstanding bills to be worked on, such as the promotion of the proper human sexual rights and Ghanaian Family Values Bill, also known as the Anti-Gay Bill. Loans, tax waivers, instruments may also be presented. Ministers will definitely be scheduled to answer questions on the floor, as well as the Speaker may admit statements and motions for debate. And all these may have to be done before members rise again for the Christmas break in December. Evelyn Tingma, TV3 News, Parliament House.
And here in the studios, my name is Josh Quinn. You're live on DSTV channel 279. Into more news, Chair of the Electoral Commission, G. Mensah, has emphasized the power and responsibility of the media, highlighting the dangers of unchecked power and misinformation as Ghana heads to the 2024 polls. Delivering a speech at the 27th Ghana Journalism Awards, she acknowledged that media freedom is essential, but should not equate to freedom to deceive.
Disinformation and falsehood, as well as propaganda, turned friends and neighbors into enemies and culminated in a dark chapter of human history. As a nation, this is a path we must vow never to walk on. Therefore, your commitment to ensuring the peace and security of our country as we go to the polls in December 2024 should go beyond mere rhetoric to practicing responsible journalism. You have already shown your potential to play the watchdog role responsibly, and I commend you highly for the role you have played since the inception of our Fourth Republic.
Still on the 27th GJ Awards, the Media General team picked up key prizes at the Ghana Journalists Association Award ceremony held on Sunday, that's yesterday. Godwin Asiniba picked up the Best Documentary Writing for Television Award. 3News.com's Eric Aite picked Columnist of the Year, while Ghana Tonight won the Best Television Program, that's the English category. Congratulations to the winners and the entire team. And now let's do some politics. The General Secretary of the New Patriotic Party, Justin Kodria Frimpong, says aspirants making vote-buying allegations ahead of the flag-bearer election on November 4 must support the allegations with evidence. The governing party will go to the polls on November 4 to elect a presidential candidate for the 2024 elections. Joseph Brown has more.
Among current party issues is the breakaway of founding MPP member Alan Tremantin, based on claims that he and the members associated with him have been treated with disdain. The General Secretary of the MPP, Justin Kodria, in an interview on TV3's Hot Issues, however, debunked these claims.
In this government, we had ministers who are cabinet members who were supporting Mr. Tremantin. At no point in time did we hear even one of them complaining that he or she has been vilified or has been persecuted because he or she is supporting Mr. Tremantin.
He states that the MPP will not have a problem if Alan Tremantin decides to rejoin the party.
He decided to opt out from the political party. So if for one or two reasons, maybe he wants to come back, as a general secretary of the party, I'll have no problems with it.
With only a week until the party's presidential primaries, concerns have been raised about some flag-bearer aspirants paying to be voted for in the November 4 primaries. But Justin Kodria says such allegations must be backed with evidence.
Unless maybe you caught someone taking money or someone paying money to a delegate. So at the end of the day, when a person makes allegation, it should be backed by evidence.
Are you telling me the party treated those as hearsays?
Of course. If you make allegation, you don't bring evidence. So I should be going around asking delegates, how much did someone give to you?
The upcoming presidential primaries, according to the MPP, will be conducted in a manner similar to the national election.
The elections are going to be held as if we are conducting national elections. In the previous elections or constituency elections, whereby the party delegates will gather at one place and several speakers will come and speak, and there will be that euphoria and those things. It's not going to happen this time around. This time around, the Electoral Commission and the police will be fully in charge of the process. So it will be like a general election. You just walk in, you go and cast your vote, then you leave.
The General Secretary has meanwhile urged Professor Frimpong Boateng to provide evidence for his claims that members of the party were instructed to make life difficult for him following his report on illegal mining.
If he can provide evidence to prove or to buttress the point that he has made, then I can speak to it. But at the end of the day,
were members instructed to make life difficult for him?
I was never instructed. None of the national officers, none of our party rank and file have been called, have been instructed to go A or go B. And I consider it as a derogatory statement, even against the party.
Judith Brown, TV3 News, Accra.
Singapore is the best place to live in the world, according to Hong Kong and Shanghai Banking Corporation's annual expert survey. With little land and no natural resources, the island city-state has been called the 20th century's most successful development story. In the following report, I take you on a tour of the country, well known for its cleanliness and strict rules, and what Ghana can learn. The Singapore story is a tale of incredible progress and development, transforming into a global economic powerhouse. Before my visit, I had heard a lot about the island city-state, particularly its strict rules, where it is even illegal to chew gum. I was quite apprehensive because one of the basic things you can easily find in my pouch is a pack of chewing gum. People found to be chewing gum, selling or just carrying them were imposed with heavy fines ranging from 500 to 100,000 Singapore dollars, which is equivalent to over 4,300 to 860,000 cedis. Offenders could also face up to 2 years of imprisonment, and these conditions are comparable to Singapore's littering fines. Today, the chewing gum ban is more lenient, but the restrictions on the sale of chewing gum remains one of the most well-known laws. You want to know why this law was instituted? The major event that contributed to the chewing gum ban was the unveiling of the Mass Rapid Transit Project, MRT, where the country invested some $5 billion to facilitate smooth and rapid transport for 8 people, but unfortunately, the door sensors of the trains were vandalized by sticking chewing gum. Talking about trains, the MRT project is efficient here, with most of Singapore's working class relying heavily on one of its cheapest mode of transportation. With a topped-up card, you can travel everywhere just by swiping. The curious me decided to explore the street to confirm further the cleanliness levels of the country.
I love Singapore. It's my first time. It's so lovely. Very clean. Very clean.
It's very clean. Not only here, you go everywhere. Even the estate side also clean.
Trees are dotted everywhere, and this aids inhalation. I've walked for roughly 20 minutes, and I'm yet to find filth. Truth is, I'm not exaggerating at all. I guess this might be an exercise in futility. Tourists in Singapore are highly impressed.
Me personally, if I'm going somewhere, I go along with a certain bag that when I buy a sachet of water, I drop the sachet in it. But let's say Ghanaians, if you're being so or yeah, the moment of marrying or the bed of form, it also counts. But here, you don't see it like that. And you see dustbins around, small dustbins, so everything is on point.
Fantastic. Everything is spotless. I'm from the UK. There's just no comparison.
Ghana dear Ebola so. Ghana dear Ebola so. Ubaha.
Ghana is engulfed in filth, whereas Singapore is just like heaven.
Nearly 80% of Singapore's population resides in housing that is developed and managed by the Housing and Development Board. The government, following the land lease system common in other city-states, which allows it to keep other taxes low, owns the land and leases it out for 99 years to its citizens. Routes to tourist sites are well cut out, with activities properly coordinated to offer patrons everlasting memories. It takes a country that has zero tolerance for filth to implement periodic cleaning even at nighttime. When using public washrooms, there's a deliberate attempt to improve on services, and so feedback is sought from users, just like this one at the Changi Airport. Surprisingly, you need to clear your own plates at restaurants of your choice.
If other countries want to be liberal and let things be anyhow they want it to be, then they're getting our results. As you can see, people are getting our results. They're getting real results that is making the country an attractive place.
Singapore actually started as an independent country with a relative similar economic standing to many African countries. But today, the small nation of 5.7 million people, also the second highest population density in the world, has left Africa behind, including Ghana, by a good country mile.
Actually, Singapore is just a crop of a rock in the sea. That's what an island is. They had no natural resources, and brings to the point that in the modern society, it's your people's capacity and their leadership that makes the difference, not the gold, which becomes oil, which can become a curse.
The Singapore of today has been touted as what First President Osagyefo Dr. Kwame Nkrumah envisioned for Ghana.
The rule of law and order, it works. So that you know that you cannot get away when you do wrong. So, and that's where when you talk about the cleanliness and everything there, because the law works. You are not supposed to litter. If you litter, irrespective of who you are, the law will deal with you.
Indeed, Singapore presents a lesson worth emulating, and for a country like Ghana that wants to take giant steps with the right leadership and discipline, even low-hanging fruits like sanitation and making Accra the cleanest city in Africa would have been achieved. George Queening, TV3 News, Singapore. Well, on that Singapore note, we end today's edition of Morning News. I came to you live from the news app here. For more news updates, just log on to our website, h3news.com. My colleague Bella, Nasha and Wallen are standing by, looking all dapper. Thanks for watching. Good morning.
From now to the end of December, win